So command line arguments are like you are passing anything in the command line, and how do you get the arguments is like in any Perl code or any code which you execute, you can always execute it while passing the arguments in the functions, okay, or passing some arguments in the code itself, or by, you can say, like by hard coding in the code, or you can pass the values as a command line argument. So command line arguments are the parameters which pass along with the script execution. In Perl, we access these parameters with the help of special variable @argv. So it is argument vector, very much similar to C, where we have this argc, argv. But we pass this, since this is a vector, or you can say it's an array, so we have this @ symbol before argv. So this is a keyword, and you cannot make it capital letter or small letter. This is always capital letter in the uppercase. So argv contains all the command line arguments provided to your program, okay. And so whenever we want to access this command line arguments, you can always invoke argv, and you can pass which argument you want. So you can say that argv1. So it is the first. So it is the second argument, and the first argument will be argv0, right? So if you are passing 3 arguments, it will be argv0, argv1, and argv2, and so on. So similarly, here you can see $num equal to argv0. So we set $num equal to the first command line argument. The print square of argument $num is num exponential 2. So print its square. So say we have a number which is passed from the command line argument. I'll show you how it is done. So you have to punch, or you have to type that value. So if you pass 5, so you will get 25. And we can access the script name with the variable $0. So if the $0 is again a special variable which stores excuse me. So it stores the name of the script. So if the script has a.pl name, so it will print you the name of the script. So we'll see this example. Okay. Here at GBPL. So you can see this example, same example what we printed, and we can just print the value. So you can see. So what happens is, here square of the number is 0. Name of the script is argv.pl. So I have not passed anything. So what does command line argument means is, after doing Perl argument.pl, we are passing the values. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we can pass multiple arguments, but we are doing a square of which argument? We are just doing argv0. So we are taking only the first argument and passing. So it will ignore any number of additional arguments. So we just need to pass only one argument, and it will return the square of the first argument. So I can modify this program, and I can show you what are the total outputs. So you can do just next print. You can do print the arguments are See, you can see this, you can see the output. So I am just printing, just printing all the arguments in the ARGB, right? So this is an array, or you can say the argument vector, and all argument which you are passing. So we are not using any C concepts wherein if we want to print each element of an array, we want to use a for loop or for each. We need not use, because this ARGB is an array which already stores each element of the arguments which are passed. So we are passing 5 arguments. Say y, if you put 5 arguments, it will show you the 5 arguments which are passed, and the name of the script will always be passed in the ARGB in the special variable called $0. Like we have $_ which is the default variable. $0 will always give you the name of the script. So whenever you want to print the name of the script, it is $0. So let's go to the next slide. So I am in slide number 43. So we have another 18 slides to cover in half an hour. So let's hope like we can complete it on time so that it is not delayed. So here ARGB, another example. So what we are doing is $scalar if scalar ARGB. So scalar function internationally converts the list into a scalar, right? So we already talked about scalar. So scalar is like it converts each element from a list to, we can see that how it is, what is the example, what it does. So print usage, print script $0 accepts 2 mandatory parameters, right? And print $0 $num and exit 1. Okay, so like let's see the code and see. Let's open this code. So ARGB1. So here what we do is we are passing, we are making each element of the argument vector as a scalar, and we want to check the condition if the argument vector quantities, whatever the values are, less than 2. Okay, so we will only take 1, right? So if it will have, we will have values 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, but will only less than 2 means only it is 1. 1 is the only one less than 2. Then we'll print uses and print script $0 accept 2 mandatory parameters, and then we do $0. So the script name and the number. Okay, so number we pass, okay, and the power. So again exit 1, and here what we do is $number is equal to ARGB0 and $power equal to ARGB1. So see, this is a very good technique by which we can make this compatible. Like here, whenever this ARGB0, we are passing this in number, and whenever ARGB1, we are passing in power, and we want to print the power of a number. So we just do num star power. So we can execute and see Perl ARGB1.pl, and I think they want to have only 1 argument, not 2. Okay, they want to have 2 arguments. So say 3 and 2 they want to pass. Okay, 3 and 2. So 9. Okay, so even if you pass so many arguments, it will only take the first argument, because we are passing, we are putting this logic wherein if the argument less than 2. So if it is only 1 argument, then only we are going to take the first argument, and we want to print it. So you can see this code. Okay, so here we will just see and we will just print. So that's how it is. Like if it is less than 2, we want to just print the power of the number. So we can do this. right? Okay. Okay, and here you can pass anything. You can pass. Okay. So see, here if we pass 1, okay, then it will give you this condition where it says like uses is this, script 0 exit 1. So what the logic here is, if the number is if the number is less than 2, so if the argument is 1, then you will just print this thing. If the argument is not 1, if the argument is 2, okay, it will still give you this thing, because it is like less than 2 means it is like what it does is it is like 0, it is like 2 if the argument scalar means how many arguments are there. So like here we can see that if you are passing 2 also, you are getting 3, but if you are passing 3, okay, so we are again getting the same thing. So we are passing 4, will also get the same thing. But if you are passing through 2 arguments, okay, we'll get the output. That means if you are passing 1 argument, if you are passing just 1 argument here, then it is always going to check if there is this condition where the arguments are less than 2. That is only 1 argument. Sorry, I was wrong about it. It is like if the arguments are less than 2 means it is only 1 argument. So if you just pass 1 argument, then it will always give you the first output here till here. And if it is more than 1 argument, then it will take the first argument. Okay, it will take just the first argument and return the exponential of that. So here if we pass 3, so here if we pass like 3 and 2, okay, we get 9. If we pass 2 and 4, we get 16. So just the first argument, we just get the exponential of that. And sorry, I'm sorry about it. It's not the exponential. It's like the first argument. The first argument's exponential is the second argument. So it is something like 2 to the power 4. It is like 3 to the power 2. It is like 2 to the power 6. So something like that. So that's how it is. So if it is you are passing 3 2, it will be 9. If you pass 4 and 4, so you can understand it's 256. 4 into 4 into 4. Let's go to the next slide. So what does hash argv prints, right? So this is a special variable which gives the last index. All array functions works with the argv. So it gives you the last index, like we talked in the last class. So there are some special variables, and this $hash will give you the last index of the array. So we talked about this yesterday. Similar thing is argv. It's also an array, so it has a similar functionality. So pass the arguments. So Perl places the arguments to a subroutine in the special array called @ underscore. So we had this $_ as a special variable which stores the default argument, and @ is a special variable which stores the arguments of the subroutine. So we can do @ and then underscore, and we can pass what are the arguments to a subroutine, which we talked. So it's actually not $_1, which I talked. It is actually @ $1 for subroutine arguments. So where we were. Okay, so there are two ways to pass the arguments. One is pass by value and pass by difference. Pass by value is you are passing the direct value. Pass by difference is like you are passing the address basically. So how we pass the address is we are using the ampersand operator. So we can pass the address if we use the ampersand operator. So it will pass the address of that location, and we can swap. So basically it will be used in swap and all functionalities, where if you just swap it, and if you do call by value, it will be only swapping locally. So if you are wanting to swap 10 and 20 and you are just passing by value, and here also you swap it, then it will not be swapped outside because you are only swapping the values. But if you swap by reference, then what do you pass the pointers? So what will happen is the pointers will get interchanged. So 10 will become 20 and 20 will become 10. In that case, once you call back, return to the actual function, so it will get the actual values. So that is one important way where we will use call by reference, wherein we want to do some operation. So we will be doing call by reference and we will be passing the thing to the call function. So here we are adding, instead of swapping, we are adding two numbers. So you can see that how we are adding. We are passing the reference of add. So $add, what we do is $var and $var2. So 10 and 20 we do, and in add, what we do is $add equal to default add. So we are passing this the arguments of the this function to this. So here we need not call by reference, because here this is actually not calling by reference. This is actually calling the function itself, calling the subroutine itself. But calling by references will be here. That is the parameters. So here if we pass the address, so it will be called by reference, but here we are calling by value only. But the good thing is this is a default argument array. So we need not pass call by reference and do. Instead, we can use these special variables, and it will already store the values, arguments of this subroutine, and it will be passed. So when we want to do an add, and we do $a equal to $b, so this will pass on this argument 10 and 20, and when we return, it will just add 10 and 20, and it will give you the result. So that's it. So let's go to the next slide. So pass arguments by reference. So here we are passing the reference. So if you are passing by reference in Perl, in actually C it is ampersand, but in Perl, if you want to pass a reference, it is like the backslash and the name. And this is not overriding, because in the print statement, if you put within the double quotes and then you put this backslash, it is overriding. But in this case, it is the reference of that array. So reference of that array means it is the address of the array. So when you want to concatenate, or you want to concatenate two arrays, how do we do that? So what we do is we are passing two arrays as for concatenation. 10, 20, 30, 40. So when we concatenate array 1, it will be 10, 20, and concatenate array 2, it will be 30, 40. Okay. So again, when we want to do concatenate $a, $b, return $a, $b. So this is how we dereference an array reference. So we can just execute this program and see what is the output. Okay. So it is like 10, 20, 30, 40. So here what we are doing is we are returning the at the rate and $a and at the rate of $b. Means what we are doing is we are concatenating the array, and we are passing this into a you can say it's dereferencing. Dereferencing means you are converting from the reference to the actual array. So when we have a reference and you want to dereference it, then you have to call $at the rate, or at the rate $, is also okay, right? So when we do, it will give the values of A and values of B. So values of A is 10, 20, values of B is 30, 40. So this is about it. So let's see this. What is the output of the following code snippet? Number 1 equal to 10, number 2 equal to 20, print demo function number 1. So return shift at the rate of underscore. So what will happen is we are passing 1020 and we are print demo number 1. So we are passing 10. Print demo and number 1. So first we are passing 10 and return shift. So shift what it does is shift will add, right? And unshift will remove from the starting of the array. So here when we do a shift this, then what it does is it will pass 10. So shift function will pull the first element from the array. Here there is default. The default array is at the rate of underscore. So it will be passed on, and that is what the result is. So let's go to the next functionality. So Autoload functionality. So there are a lot of functions. You have to just remember everything. You might not remember, but it depends on your script, what you are writing. So it might not be that much essential. So Autoload function, autoload any calls to undefined subroutines. This is called, so for exceptional handling, this autoload functionality is used. The name of the missing subroutine is accessible within the subroutine and as $autoload. So if there is some exception happening, then that will be automatically passed to $autoload, and the arguments are passed to at the rate of underscore, which is same as like functionality. So any subroutine, any calls to undefined subroutines will be passed on to the autoload function, and the parameters of this will be populated to at the rate of underscore. So here you can see this autoload functionality. When we want to print this, you can see that autoload at the rate of underscore. I've never heard of a subroutine called autoload. I'm ignoring your arguments. So you are passing 3 to never. I'm ignoring your arguments. So the simple thing is here in autoload we are passing undefined subroutines. So that means we don't want to define those subroutines. So and these arguments are passing in $underscore, means the default the arguments of this functionality or the subroutine is passed in $underscore. Now we want to print the subroutine and $autoload. So $autoload, what it contains? Okay, $autoload doesn't contain anything actually, because it is undefined this thing, and I am ignoring your arguments. So what it does is when we are adding 3 and 2, so I'm saying I'm ignoring your arguments 3 and 2. Okay, and I have never heard of an argument. I have never heard of a subroutine named main multiplying. I'm ignoring your arguments 4 and 5. So what it does is whenever you pass these arguments to an autoload, so you can see that this adding functionality and multiplying functionality is never defined. That is the thing. So autoload will contain those functionality arguments. So adding, we have seen that we have not defined this argument. We are just invoking. Here multiplying, we are just invoking, but there is no definition of adding. So Autoload will automatically contain these arguments. The first time we are passing this adding, automatically Autoload takes this argument 32 and it says that adding, the name of the functionality will be passed in $Autoload, and the arguments will be at the rate of args. Okay, so we have like argv is like argument vector, args is like the arguments. So the arguments will be in the args, like at the rate of args. So like here we are passing the default arguments of this functionality to args. So this args will be printing you the arguments. So you can see that it will do the same thing for both the cases, adding and multiplying. So let's go to the next thing, prototyping. So prototyping is let you declare a subroutine without explicitly defining the subroutine. Makes the subroutine to call with mandatory parameters. Say $1. So what does prototyping mean? Prototyping let you declare a subroutine and its arguments without explicitly defining the subroutine. So prototyping means there is two things. There is something like definition and declaration in C or C++. Definition means you are actually defining the code snippet of the functionality. Here we are only declaring. So it is like a prototyping, but we are not having any definition. So when we declare and we don't have a definition of it, so it is called prototyping. So generally in headers, in function headers or file headers, we will be having this prototyping concept. While in the actual C file, we will be having the actual definitions. So similarly in Perl also, we will be having this prototyping concept. So you can see that sub one, one underscore scalar dollar, sub three underscore scalar dollar. So three scalar exact three scalar arguments, and this sub two at the rate, so two mandatory arrays. So that means what? So we are just defining the behavior, how it should look like. So it is a subroutine with sub as the prefix, and the name is one underscore scalar, and the arguments is only one scalar, like one argument. If we want three arguments and three scalar arguments, this. We want two arrays, we will define this. So it is like one mandatory scalar and one optional scalar. So this we can also specify. So there are so many techniques in Perl. So an expert in Perl will know each and everything, but it might not be essential for everyone. These are like, who knows more tricks in Perl will be able to write better code and like more optimized code. That is it. Sub one array and optional hash. So it is like one mandatory array and one optional hash, right? Now, why we pass this slash? Because whenever we call an array, or we want to call a reference within a function, we have to pass the reference. You can see. So this is a function or subroutine, sub one array, and we are passing the reference, and the second one is optional. So let's go to the next slide, prototyping example. So here we are seeing like we are passing array and two array 1, array 2. So see here we are actually calling, right? Here we are actually calling two array with the array 1. So here we have to pass the reference, but here no backspace is required because we are actually passing the two arrays, right? So there to so what it does is, let's execute this and see. So it is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and. So here first array, what we do is, first array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and second array is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we want to print array reference and array reference 2. So we will print both the arrays. So it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. And next what it does is, we are doing two array and array 1. So in the two array, we are only passing one array instead of two arrays. And we are passing the reference of the first array. So it will only print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will only print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and. Okay. Because the second, the second array is not there. So the second array is empty. So it will not print the second array. Okay. So this is the last slide, and we'll also execute Perl sub7.pl. Okay, actually I think this is not correct because Perl 7.pl is right. We are passing the right number of arguments. What is happening is, in the first case we are passing the two arrays, so it's printing both the arrays. In the second case, we are only passing one array reference. So in this case, it is just printing one array. So I don't think this is right. So you can just ignore. So that's it. So we are done with this session. Here we are taking two scalars, and you can see that here we are taking two scalars like dollar and comma. So we can have only one argument. It can have one or two arguments. So here what we do is, when we do, so here we are passing only one scalar. So it will only print the one scalar. In this case, we are passing two scalars, right? In this case, we are passing two arrays, right? So in the two arrays we want to print, it is just the two arrays, and in the second case, we are passing only one array, so it is just one array.